These men have come to collect $100 each from this post office in Gaza City. The cash they are receiving is from the Qatari government, donated to more than 90,000 families here.
In general, $100 won't solve anything. I have 8 children. We need Israel's siege to be lifted, the crossings opened, and the end of political division. That's what will solve our problems.
The cash is part of a humanitarian program for Gaza being led by Qatar with UN assistance. But the donation process is far from straightforward. Under an informal agreement, Israel in November allowed Qatar to begin sending $90 million to Gaza over a 6-month period. The money is to pay the salaries of civil servants and to buy power station fuel, as well as humanitarian aid. But for almost 3 weeks, the Israeli government refused to approve the third instalment, around $15 million, after an escalation of violence along the Gaza-Israel border. When Israel finally allowed the money transfer, Hamas refused to accept it, saying the Israelis had changed the conditions of the cash transfer deal and was politicizing the issue before Israeli elections in April. Many Israeli politicians are against the agreement, saying the government is paying what they describe as a terrorist organization to keep quiet.
Hamas says that it cannot raise sufficient taxes because Gaza's economy is so deeply affected by Israel's more than 10-year land, air and sea blockade. Meanwhile, the United Nations says the situation for Gaza's 2 million population is made worse by what it describes as international donor fatigue.
The UN says whether you agree with Hamas policies or not, humanitarian aid should not be politicized.
I appreciate those kinds of arguments, but think that we need to keep humanitarian and political concerns separate. I think if you start questioning the political motivations of humanitarian aid, you will never get anything done.
Hamas says with or without Qatar's money, Friday protests on Gaza's border will continue until Israel lifts its siege. At least 250 Palestinians have been killed, mainly by Israeli sniper fire, since the demonstrations started in March. And hundreds of thousands of Palestinians like these continue to rely on international humanitarian aid to survive. Stratford, Al Jazeera, Gaza.